Time to fuel your business success. Welcome to Harmonious at Lunch. We're bringing you bite-sized advice and expert conversations to drive clarity and growth 5 days a week. Make sure you join our Facebook group at humanop.com/lunch, where listeners like you and our guests hang out so we can find harmony in business together. If you're building a business, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another weekly update. It's the Wupdate here on Harmonious at Lunch, and we did it, guys. We got a full week of amazing episodes and amazing guests. I know the last couple of weeks have been hit or miss. We'd have two episodes that are really good and then one or two that were but this week we did awesome. I hope you listen to all of them. If you haven't, go back and check them out. We're going to recap it here. I'll take you behind the scenes a little bit. I'll play clips from the episodes. If you haven't been with us on a weekly update before, just high level about the episodes. And if you missed anything, you can go back, check out what's interesting. Otherwise, whatever. We'll see you next week. I hope you're subscribing anyway. Shout out to those of you who are subscribing on YouTube. Last week, we surpassed 500 subscribers, which is pretty cool. That's awesome. I remember starting that channel not that long ago from scratch, and 500 of you have subscribed. So super, super cool. But I want to hear from you. I want to make sure that you're subscribed so that you can actually get value from this podcast and from this channel. We put out a ton of content. We have a bunch of interviews, amazing people. But what more do you want? How else can I help you grow your business and build a more harmonious business and life? That's what I want to know. Comment on this video, comment on any of our videos, or reach out to me directly. Reach out to me. I'd love to connect on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there. So I'd love to hear what you want, what you need to help grow your business, who I can connect you with. I have amazing guests on this show, and I have a very large Rolodex at this point. So if you need help, I'm sure I can help you. Let's dive in, though. We had 4 amazing guests: David Forrester, Jason Barnard, Corinne Alman, and Miki Wang, and they were awesome. We covered everything this week. We covered ageism in the workplace. Didn't know that was a really big deal. Kind of cool to get to talk about it. We covered owning your digital presence, not online, but on ChatGPT, Gemini, and other AI agents and tools. We talked about growing a startup from nothing. We talked about systems and operations. Let's start there with David Forrester. The first episode of the week, Systematize Your Business, is the thumbnail over on YouTube. If you're watching this, it's on the screen. But David Forrester, we talked about, his background is in operations, systems, processes, that kind of thing. He's got a business where he specializes in helping people who are in the trade businesses, optimize and up-level their systems. And, we nerded out a little bit because that's where my background is. That's where my heart is. I love the ops and the fine details about how a business and how things work. So we just got to talking about building better systems. One of the coolest discussions we had was building an effective onboarding system and how that actually helps retain your employees long term, which is so beautiful and ties into what we do at HumanOp, especially with our Maestro platform, where if you know who that person is, you can tailor their onboarding experience to them. You can follow a set process, but make the minor tweaks so it feels like it's custom to them. And it's just so cool how you can impact the lifespan of the employee in that first day, week, 2 weeks, or month. We talked about this on the episode. It's the stats are very clear. If you get the onboarding period right, you have a much higher likelihood of retaining that employee for a longer period of time. If they feel like the onboarding is rushed or they just get a weird feeling, it's not tailored to them, they actually leave that company sooner. And that stat, I actually heard that for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Another guest shared it with me on the podcast, and it felt right, but it kind of blew my mind at the same time. Because if you think about onboarding experiences you've had in the past at companies, the way they make you feel in the first couple of days really influences how you feel about that company. And just nailing that process and getting it right could do amazing things for the lifespan of your employees at your company. So definitely check this episode out with David. We talked about a lot of things. That was one of the key things. Check this video out, and then we'll move on to the next episode.
And that way, as soon as they get there, they know exactly what the next 3 months looks like. And that's going to blow their mind. Plus, you don't have to wake up and go, okay, what am I going to have this guy do today? Oh, I got 15 emails over here and 2 of these phone calls. Hey, could you just like pick up the trash today while I'm dealing with all this stuff? They already kind of know because they had the plan, and you have a plan in front of you that you don't have to recreate and think about. Oh, it's day 3. We're going to do this. Right.
But yeah, avoid the duct tape hiring, so to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, can you try this and it'll be good for learning, right? Yeah, how many times have you done that? I've done it. That's why I brought it up on the podcast there, as you saw in the clip. But great episode with David. I highly suggest, if you have a team you're looking to scale, a business you're looking to scale, if you have employees and you want to hire employees, please go listen to that episode. It's definitely a good one, even if you're not in the trades. Moving on, episode 2 from the week, Claim Your Brand, is the thumbnail. It's on the screen. And this was with Jason Barnard. Shout out to Jason. I actually just met with him earlier this morning before I recorded this. He took me up on my offer of downloading the HumanUp app, going through, taking the assessment, and I showed him his results behind the scenes. And he was surprised at how accurate it was. And I love showing people that, because it's really, really cool. One of the things he shared with me after the show was that he felt like he wasn't being his authentic self, just in general, not on this podcast, but he's gone through some media training. He's working with a company to do some more PR, and he's so focused on doing the things that they told him to do that he felt like he was not honoring himself truly when he's speaking and on podcasts. And I think he did a great job on this show. We had a really great interview. One of the things he said, though, is he's not having fun. He's not having enough fun like he used to in his past. Well, we got his results, and that's one of the biggest parts of him, is he loves to, not even loves to have fun, but needs to have fun. It lights him up. That's when his authentic self comes out. And it was just that little bit of reassurance that I was honored to show him, that you need to do that. You need to honor yourself, because people will connect with you more. They'll feel a level of authenticity with you, even when you're speaking on a podcast or speaking on a stage, you're in a sales call, whatever it may be. If you honor your authentic self, people will connect with you more. So really, really cool to take him behind the scenes of our technology and show him that. But he shared with us something that totally blew my mind: claiming your brand on ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, other AI platforms. It's not traditional SEO. It's actually way more important, but I think pretty simple. The way he explained it, I mean, it was great to see the strategy behind how to go through and do this in your business, but managing your entire digital footprint, making sure that when you go to these newer search platforms that are taking over traditional search like Google and Bing. I don't know anybody that use Bing, but I think people out there do use it. So if that's you, I'm sorry, but the rest of the world is on Google. But we're moving to ChatGPT, Gemini. I know me personally, I use Gemini all the time for search. If your brand, if your SEO isn't showing up and available for Gemini or ChatGPT to find, well, it can't recommend you, and you're not going to get in front of your ideal clients. So it's a really interesting time. If we take advantage of this opportunity, we can take a massive leap in our industry, in our geography, whoever your quote unquote competitors are. Now is the time to dive in, listen to an episode like this, and make sure your brand is consistent and it's out there for the newer search platforms to use. Look at who took over and who won when Google was first available, and when other search engine platforms were first available. The people who mastered the tool, they got ahead. They capitalized on the .com boom, and that is happening, and it will happen again. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. That means if we just look back about 20 years to the .com boom, the bubble, what can we learn? What can we take from that we can apply to AI? Because it will rhyme. Is something like that is going to happen again with AI. You can't have this many tools being produced every single day and have it be sustainable. We are in a bubble. It will pop. Those of us who see that and take advantage of it and get ahead of it will absolutely win. And this is my warning to you officially on this podcast, that is coming. It's coming in the very near future. And I want you to equip you and help you, bring you experts like Jason who can help you get ahead of that bubble so that your business not only survives, but thrives. Imagine being the next Mark Cuban. He won big during the .com bubble. Hundreds of other businesses made it, but how many thousands didn't? How many people went out of business and bankrupt because they were too far behind or they were chasing something they just couldn't keep up with? Don't be on that side of the bubble. Please listen to more of these episodes. Let's play a clip from Jason here, and we'll move on for the week.
And the idea that you can do that is often new to people. The idea that I can heavily influence what Google, ChatGPT, Bing say about me is news to most people. But if you look me up now on Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, take your pick. I don't mind any of them. Who is Jason Barnard? What is his expertise? It will say such nice things about me. It will be my best advertisement possible. Please go ahead.
And it's not because those things are false. You just put the effort in to educate the software or the model, which is, I think it's fascinating, and I want to dive in. And I do. I still think it's fascinating. I thought it was fascinating then. I think it's fascinating now. Go listen to that episode if you haven't already. That's all I'm going to say about it. I've talked enough, but the warning is there. The warning is clear. If you don't see it, you're already behind, but there is time to catch up. So I'm not preaching fear here, but please go listen, go catch up, get ahead of this. All right. Episode 3, Wednesday's episode of the week with Corinne Aumann. Corinne, so great to meet her, and I'm grateful she came on the show. I was a little skeptical about this episode before we started recording because it was about ageism in the workplace. I'm like, ageism? What? We've heard of, maybe the gender issues, DEI, racism, all that fun stuff, but ageism, is that a real thing? Is that happening? And apparently it is. Yes, it's very true, and it's happening all the time. But Corinne was able to show me not only how it's happening and where and when and what it looks like, and how actually it's happening now on an automated level, which is a little bit scary. Creating your resumes or filtering through resumes in a way that we take the age of a person out of it and we really look at who they are as humans. I shared with her as well, our technology does this so well because we produce a unique blueprint of who every individual is. We can show you what they're good at, where they're going to maybe struggle in your particular company, if they're even a good fit for your culture. I love the Human Op technology because it gets around all of this. If we just rely on those assessment results and stop looking at everything else on the resume, the sheet of lies, as I've called it in the past, we can get to the core of who a human being is and if they're actually going to be a good fit for our company. And, she resonated with that, which was really cool to see. But some of the things that were eye-opening is ageism is very real. But on the other side of that, we're missing huge opportunities by not having an age diverse workforce. Someone who's 21 and someone who's 75 has completely different life experiences, and they should be learning from each other. You shouldn't have this tight window of companies who only have 40 and 50-year-olds or 30 and 40-year-olds or whatever the age range is. The more you can maximize that age range, the more flexible and diverse, but from a thought diversity perspective, your company actually is. Really, really cool stuff we talked about. Let's play the clip from Corinne, and we'll move on to episode 4 of the week.
Young people, when you're in your 20s, you're broke. You don't have any money. But people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s have money to spend. But it's amazing how marketing teams just don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's always funny to see a marketing team of like 22-year-olds trying to market to a 75-year-old.
All they
are
can
not speaking the same language.
Well, and all they can do is think, because they believe the stereotypes about growing older. All they can think about is healthcare stuff. Oh, we're going to market, medicine or walkers or healthcare products to them. They cannot see older people as fully developed, well-rounded humans with lots of interests and activities and things that they want to do. All they can see is healthcare.
Yeah, interesting topic there. Obviously, we were talking about marketing to different age groups, and it really is interesting to see how this sort of plays out. And you don't even really realize it until you listen to a conversation like that. So, really cool conversation. Corinne was amazing, so knowledgeable. She's been in this space for years and years. I highly suggest, if you lead a company, if you want to expand the experience on your team, go listen to that episode. It'll give you some new insights, and you'll throw age out the window and look at it in an entirely new light. So I encourage you to go do that. Thanks to Corinne again for stopping by. Episode 4, rounding out the week, we had Miki Wang, and her episode was super cool. It was the Entrepreneur's Journey episode, which I love having. I love hearing how people started their companies, what they grew through, where they've been, where they're going. It's always good to hear how people did it, right? You always look back and look at your own story, and it seems just like boring at sometimes, right? Because it's your story, you lived it. But when you can learn from other people and see their story, and not the big celebrity entrepreneurs who have documentaries about them, but like real everyday people who have normal everyday companies just like us. So cool to hear that they experienced the same things we did, same challenges, same ups, same downs, and how they got through it. And it sparks some ideas in you and in your business too. So I love having episodes like this. But we talked about how she took the leap. She left her corporate job and started her own company with a partner, and they focused on the fundamentals, right? They focused on customer service and delivering a really good product. And fast forward 10 years later, their company is thriving, growing. It's doing well, and they're looking at the next phase of growth and then potentially even an exit. It's what we all want when we start a company, to have it grow successfully, be potentially able to sell it or actually go through with selling it, and then maybe move on to something else, or maybe that's it. Maybe that's all you need to do, one exit, and you could be set for life. It doesn't matter what your goals are. It's so cool to see when it works, because it's very rare that it actually does. The stats are very clear. Over 94% of businesses fail within 10 years. So not only is Miki's business within a very small 6%, another 90 some odd percent of businesses do not surpass $1 million in revenue. So out of that very small 6%, what percentage of them have actually made it past $1 million in revenue and are actually sellable businesses? She's part of the very few that I think we all want to be, and we can learn some lessons. I'll put the thumbnail on the screen here, Agency Growth Secrets, over on YouTube. Let's hear from Miki, then we'll round up this episode for the week. What were some of the things that you did not foresee as challenges when you started your own company?
So I was lucky to have my co-founder, because like he was managing the entire practice pretty much. So like he knew a lot more about like running a company and a bunch of things that you don't really realize when you're just like, because I was a management level, but I didn't really do more than the clients that I was handling. And then the projects that I was handling. So I had no idea there were like a lot more than just doing the work. And so I was so naive on that. So there was a lot of learning on that end, just like operation wise.
I've heard that story so many times from other people, where you leave a corporate job, you're really, really good at your role, and you jump into being an entrepreneur, and you finally realize, oh, that's why all those other people were around me, because there's other things to be done. Those of you who have had that experience, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's always cool to see, like, all right, well, she adapted. She surrounded herself with really great people. One of the things she talked about was joining masterminds and getting around other like-minded entrepreneurs. That to me is the secret sauce behind my success too. I've always been in groups and masterminds and had coaches, because doing it yourself is, to me, absolutely foolish. That's one of our guests last week talked about that. Peter Awad on last Monday's episode. And if you haven't listened to that, go check it out. But that to me is like the secret to growing any business, surrounding yourself with the right people. Shameless plug here. We at Human Up put on a retreat a couple of times a year. Our next one is coming up. If you're listening to this, it's in October. Head over to humanup.com/retreat. This is a high-level executive retreat for exactly those people who want to get around like-minded people, growing, scaling entrepreneurs who have successful companies and want to see how they're doing it, and be in a community of people who are committed to not only winning for themselves, but seeing the rest of the community win at the same time and growing together. And I'm so passionate about putting this event on. Our last one we did in February was incredible. The results speak for themselves. And I'm excited to do it again soon. But if that interests you at all, head on over humanop.com/retreat. You can apply to come. And you'll join us for 4 days in person in Scottsdale, but it's the 12-month mastermind. We'll hold your hand along the way and make sure you get the business success that you're looking for and the community that you've been seeking. Join us next week on some more Harmonious at Lunch episodes. We have 4 more incredible guests lined up. I can't wait to have these conversations and share them with you. So tune in, subscribe. We'll see you on next week's episodes of Harmonious at Lunch.
Another episode of Harmonious at Lunch in the books. I hope this episode made you think and you grabbed some actionable ideas to propel your business. Don't forget to like, comment your takeaways, and subscribe wherever you're listening so we can help more entrepreneurs just like you achieve harmony in their life and business. For cutting-edge tools that bring clarity to your people and processes, check out humanop.com to download our app today. See you next time.